we are fiercely independent because you have to be in order to protect yourself, right? A man is providing and they are overextending themselves because of the need to prove themselves. We can drive 8-hour road trip, but because he's here, we don't have to say anything. And
when the silence is comfortable,
but
right?
There's something that Penny said about.
Yeah, so Bongi, you she's allowed to the one.
No,
come in. I want to wrap this up.
I love what my artistic ladies have said and about calling BS on the love languages. But I think what stood out for me was the fact that without realizing it, they were communicating their love language, which is give me the space. Give me the space. It is. And that's why I was burning.
And you were burning.
I was burning because that
profound.
is your love language. The need for space. I need my time to look at the lamp for 2 hours.
Yes.
But that is your love language, the space. And you touch on, without saying it, but it's the intentionality that each partner needs to have in understanding who my partner is in order for me to serve. I think for me, how we interpret relationships is how we interpret relationships sometimes is misguided because we interpret relationships as what do I get? That's why we have a list for what we want, right? This is the type of men I want. But for me, if I'm entering into a relationship to serve, right? I'm entering to serve you. I don't need anything from you. I'm complete. If you come to me and you say I'm here to complete you, no boo boo. I'm sorry, Babs, I'm complete. What you do is you can come in and complement my completeness. That's what you're here for. You're here to complement my completeness. And I am here to share this beautiful being that I am and this beautiful life that I have. And that's why serving comes easily. And that is why when you spoke about being intentional, then because I'm not requiring anything of you, I'm complete as I am, I can be intentional about, okay, what does Poncho like? What does Penny like? What does Tabby like? And because I'm not requiring anything from you, I'm not draining you, I'm not asking you to give. I'm here saying, in my completeness, what can I do for you?
Yeah, I love that. That is so profound. I love that because if both the people, what you're saying, if both of us coming into this relationship are both here to serve,
yes.
How perfect is that? Because we are both not.
I'm already serving.
Well,
because I'm looking after your household and the kids and I'm cooking.
Babe.
I'm serving, babe.
And that's fine. I think serving. I don't mean domestication.
That's a different kind of.
I hear you.
Yes, but the serving
much
that
appreciated.
the serving that you speak about. So essentially, if we're both complete,
Yeah.
and we both meet each other, and we both are here for each other to give to each
Wait,
other.
hold on. What does this complete? When are we complete?
So when we say complete, is as an individual, as Uponso, you are a happy being.
So we're going back.
So we are not.
We're now talking about the vulnerability. We're talking about
not necessarily vulnerability. So you know, when you grow up, which is this is gonna lead to my next question. When we grow up, we are told, yes.
Yes.
And as a result, if you are not married,
then you do things so
just like my beautiful friend here, then there's a stigma that's linked to Guti. Shoot, you are not worthy because I for the rest of your life. So, and that's where the narrative that speaks to as a woman, you are incomplete because of Shaitan. As a woman, you need a man. And now, with the evolution,
societal
so now being married is not a thing, guys. It's not an achievement.
It's not
an achievement. I'm not going to go around and say I've achieved in life.
In fact, that's the truth, though.
Right? So that if I am an unhappy person
Inside.
by myself, how do I
I'm
then
gonna be unhappy
contribute?
in a marriage.
But it's
Absolutely.
unfair. It is
Right,
unfair
right,
to expect somebody else
To come and make
to
you
come
happy.
in
Fill
and
your
make
cup,
you
right?
happy. It's unfair. It is like
right.
the one thing we ask of our men to make us happy, to complete us.
Or of
that
our
is-
women.
Or of our women. That is an incomparable task. Nobody
Right.
can make you
Of our
feel
children.
worthy.
Yes.
Nobody can make
Can
you
I
feel
say,
worthy.
I love the level of empathy that Ubongi has for
Yes.
men generally.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Because
was
I-
loved
I-
by a dad.
Because I generally think that,
that.
you know, and I'm not being a pick me, but I generally think that there tend to be certain scales that are leaning in our favor as women, where
Absolutely.
we can have, and society allows us to have certain expectations of men,
Of men.
that if they were expected of us, we would be up in arms. And so I really
Absolutely,
appreciate
absolutely.
that level of consciousness that you have.
But then again, I must come in to say, men themselves have been raised to behave in a
Self-imposed.
particular way.
Absolutely.
So they themselves are the ones that are
Yeah.
perpetuating this expectation. You
Guys,
know,
that's why I've always said.
and I'll make an example, right? So you go to a club, an expensive club,
Yeah.
you book a VIP room, you buy ace of spades, and you know.
A guy comes and says,
No. This is the guy now.
Oh.
Booking the room, buying the expensive alcohol, and then I share a Tabi, and she says yes.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that Tabi met me in this environment, she expects a Z4S Lasa next week. She expects. Do you get what I'm saying? So you've brought upon yourself.
I don't understand.
You
that
brought
whole-
yourself.
yeah.
You brought yourself to this thing, to this expectation that if you can spend 50 grand a night, what can you do for me
Yes.
monthly?
But Penny,
Right?
and I'm posing this question to the scenario that you just posed. Is that a generational view? Because I don't expect anything to be paid for. So I'm trying to figure out, is it a
It's not a generational. I think there's different types of people in each generation, right?
Yeah.
So even the people our age, there are people out there that their goal in life is to look good and get a man to look after them. So it's not a generational thing. With every generation, it's a type of person. I grew up with my mom only. And she was hustling. She did what she did for me. I didn't turn out bad. But so as a result,
you turned out
so
very
as a result, I just don't see myself not working. I don't, because I didn't grow up with a father that looked after my mother, and my mother wasn't doing anything. So I learned that from her, right? And so for me, I want to bring what I need to bring in the table. When I have no issue with my husband looking after me, but I also don't have an issue looking after him.
Absolutely.
If I can.
No, me neither. Me neither. It's just like I fully get what
Right?
you guys are saying, and what you were saying is it a generational thing? No,
It's
not
not
really.
a generational
You-
thing.
I-
It's a
For me,
type of
if
person
I
thing.
walked into a place like that, I probably would not relate because I've never been to a
Me
place
too,
like that.
me too.
I don't know places like that because I don't even associate with people that go to places like that. So regardless of my upbringing, I was not raised like that. Like I said earlier, I don't know the difference from having and not having. I was just raised as a child. And what was provided to me was what was provided to me. Until much later in life where I realized that there were societal norms where then I didn't have certain experiences, but I didn't understand why I didn't have those experiences.
I wonder about what you're saying, and being where we are now as these 6 women in this room, what choice do we have to make sure that our children come up with a more balanced perspective of life?
What versus to
So I think ideally I want my kids to have an understanding of
absolutely
versus what it's
But
like to live in Spain City.
absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is something that has had to come up with life and the nature of work that I've had to take up on and do and whatever. But I still try not to expose my kids to poverty and wealth. I want to expose them to life. So when I take my kids into Africa, simple thing, like when I take my kids on holiday, if I take them to Africa, where I have been working there for many, many years, I will take them to, even when we have an option of a fancy hotel, because it's their first time in this area, I'll take them into a very humble, because I want them to experience, and then yes, 2-3 days later, we'll move into a different area. So as they understand that you can go from here to here, and then, you know, but they have no idea who's paying and who's not paying, but they
have an appreciation
and they sometimes, I've even had to make up lies to say to my kids, oh, the hotel we're staying at caught fire and then we have to move to this one. So they have no idea that we just moved to a very expensive place and we're in a no, they just navigating through life.
I don't agree, right? And
I know because
I'll always be like, I don't agree.
I know.
I love you ladies in the very short span.
Please do your thing.
But it's that notion. Do you remember? You know, you won't remember. Do you remember?
Because Umonto
is not experienced. Do you remember?
Also is different.
Stop it.
You know me from there forever.
So when your parents, you be like, Dr. Martin.
Yo.
I'm young hamba.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I've been very deliberate and intentional about the fact that my kids will not know and they will not know the inside of a taxi. They will not know the hardships, and there's a generational gap that we need to squash, because the white kids don't know what the inside of a taxi is, and that is.
But they don't know that being inside of a taxi is hardship.
No.
They think being inside of a taxi is an experience.
No.
Okay, so wait. So I must agree with Ponzo in this point. Wait. No, wait. So I must agree here.
Yeah.
When my kids when my mother still stayed in Lenasia, my kids used to visit her. Then she would take them to the movies at a mall.
In a taxi.
And they would go in there and they would come home excited.
Absolutely, because they think it's an experience.
Mommy, we got on this car and there were many people
There were many people who were collecting money.
And then they were like, hey, but these people don't know each other. Like, how do you get into a car when
you don't know each other?
And that's it. They think it's an experience.
So I agree with her, because they don't think that they were in a text because
it's a height of privilege.
I feel like we are denying our children the richness of our history if they don't fully understand what the impact or the relevance of riding in a taxi is.
I'm happy for my kids to go in a taxi. They've been in a taxi.
Can I close this off? Because I know you are going to come with.
Okay, close this off, then you go to mommy, and then we move on to the next question.
What I don't want, when I say I don't want to expose my kids to these experiences, it's an experience for them. They're excited. They don't know hi, and musi, like whatever. Like it's experiences that expose my kids to a variable situation that could go south. And for me, that's where I'm coming from.
But it could still happen in an airplane.
Your wealth is variable as well.
But if I can control that, it's improbable that it will happen in a plane, but it's very probable that it will happen in a taxi.
Yeah.
So you'd rather take
That's your
the...
perspective.
And it's not the be all and end all.
Yeah.
It's just an opinion and how
you see it.
like
yeah.
and nakusabloma nabantu baselokishini. Those people are very well assured.
Anything can happen. And Sam, you're right. So let's get Bongi and then we wrap up the question.
I'm laughing so hard because I think that as parents in our generation, each generation is a stepping stone for the next generation. Right. But what I find interesting is that we're trying so hard to familiarize our kids with being black.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But here's the thing. how we grew up in a community that served each other, right? Whether you served by Gijimia Stolio, Utunywa Umamose next door, or you're looking after the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
We are social beings. As human beings, we are social beings. So we grew up in a community. Instead of worrying, and I'm not saying it's not important, but instead of worrying whether a kid is taking a taxi or not, or staying in a particular hotel or not, are we allowing our kids to serve in communities, right? Because that's where we find value in who we are, right? I think it's Mahatma Gandhi who says we discover
you're
who we
talking
are
about
in
serving.
serving.
There's a difference in serving and living. I'm just gonna
No, absolutely.
I hear the
absolutely
serving
agree.
part.
I absolutely agree with
The
you. But
serving
what
part
I'm
is
saying
really
is,
large to me.
we want to instill values in our kids. So we say,
Yeah.
don't take this for granted. Be aware this is what happens, and majority of it is founded in serving. You know, if you got into a bus today and an elderly person got in, likelihood is 40 plus people in that bus will stand. The teenagers will not, because they don't know how to serve the community. So for me, it is, there are tick box things that we can do, but let's get down to
Foundation.
we are social beings, and being a social being means serving the community.
I don't agree.
And that's how
So,
we'll
so,
instill
so
in
Bonnie,
our
let me come in,
kids.
right? So I do want to close this because it is,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have one question.
We need to have a part two.
Like-
No.
So the one
Bring it
question
out.
I have, you are saying that we grew up as community.
Yeah.
Was it our choice to grow up in those communities?
No, it
Exactly.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Exactly.
But
So
She's talking to the principals though.
no. It may be the principles, but what I'm saying is, for my great grandmother to land up Ezola and grow in that community,
Was it a choice?
was it a choice?
no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
So what I'm saying is, I don't want us to now not to think that those that didn't grow up like that would not be able to learn to give back and
No,
the principles.
absolutely.
Because if we all had a choice, we would
would
not
be
live
there.
as
Yes,
Ola.
yes.
We would have lived in Hyde Park.
And
And when we were in Hyde
like
Park,
Fonto.
Yes,
right?
We all want to be adopted by your parents.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we don't have to agree on that, but I'm saying let's also look at the fact that growing in the township and in a community environment was something that was imposed on
And
us.
I
So,
think, Penny, we agreeing totally
Yes.
with you, but I think because now we didn't choose that, and now we are where we would have liked to have been, right? But it's balancing the life of privilege with instilling the values and
You can still
principles
instill
in
the
our
values
kids.
without sending the child back to the township.
My point exactly.
Yes.
You are agreeing with me. What
Okay,
I
let's
said.
hear what- let's
She
hear what-
is, she is agreeing with
Yeah,
you. And
so-
I think my point, it's not binary, right? It's not you either serve or you live.
Yes.
It's both.
It's both.
And my view is you
Right.
need to serve, but there's a distinct difference between having a sense of I'm plugging into Deep Blue Soweto on a Saturday
And then I'm
plugging
plugging
out.
Plugging out.
Yes,
And
That's
for
what
me,
I absolutely
you need to
agree.
plug in and plug out, but
Correct.
you also need to have an immersion.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? What's about as Paza? What's about who I live on my friends?
Right.
And actually, because they're
And
part
all
of
my
our
friends.
identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's both.
It's
I wasn't agreeing with you when you said I don't agree. I was like,
So
You hear me?
Yeah.
But so in essence, we're sort of
We're saying
we're
the
saying the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Balance. I think
Okay.
if there's one word to encapsulate balance,
Okay.
our
Yeah.
kids need to
Right.
have balance.
Right.
Right? But the balance can be tricky.
Look, there's no.
Balance can be very, very tricky. And not only is it stipulated by how we're raised, then when cultural norms come into place, like I have a biracial child where, it's different.
Oh, yeah.
That brings a completely
Different.
But however, I still try to go with different people and how she's when she goes to that side of her and when she comes to the side,
Different.
you know,
It's different,
however, however, found values can be the same. Values, guys, is something that you can't even negotiate on. Values can be the same.
Okay, all right. I think we agree, ladies.
Yeah.
Otherwise, abanye abantu bazokhipha ama-boxing gloves. Bese kuyamoshakala. So great stuff. So ladies, I mean, this is obviously quite an interesting, and I love this conversation, and I think I'm having the best time while I'm actually.
So are we.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
continue to enjoy your drinks. Bullions has offered us free drinks, and they are a partner of Hot Seat with Penzola. So go on ahead and have your sips while we're talking. Now, the next question might not really apply to some of us that are married, but I've always wondered, you know, if any of you ladies have actually tried dating apps, and you know what your experience was.
Well, dating apps when we're struggling.
Well, you can share that experience as well. I mean, even before you got married, you know, let's talk about these dating apps.
Yeah.
Do they work? Do they not work? Is it, are you looking for something serious, or is it when you swipe right, is it just like a booty thing, you know, where it's just sex? What is it?
Let's hear from the experts.
Yeah.
Right. Look, I think for me, having always looked at, I've never, I don't know, what's the word again? Limited myself to dating in my color. So I've always been a dating app kind of person.
Okay.
I think the only partner that I did not meet on a dating app is my current partner.
Wow.
Everyone else I've always kind of met on
a dating app.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't even know anything about it when I started it. I mean, back then, the first person that I ended up with and having a child with was, I met them on a dating app, and he was living in Belgium and I was living in SA and whatever, and I took a chance. And after that, I've always trusted dating apps because I always think to myself, explore it, but then at some point you've got to want to meet the person.
Because it's all the way in Belgium and you're here.
Yeah, you've got to want to meet the person.
Yeah.
And yes, there is that whole risk of, because it's happened to me twice before where I've gotten in a flight and then the person didn't show up. Which is alright because I already had a backup.
Oh my word, this girl.
I did not, but I didn't exit.
Talk about proper planning.
I did not exit the dating app.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So you arrive and you go, oh yeah, and then it didn't work. Then you just continue with the next
others.
one. Yeah. And that's it. I'm one of those people that trust. I even tell this to my daughter to say, try a dating app. I do.
Wow. How old is your daughter?
She's 21. And I say to her, date outside of the color and don't limit yourself to countries. Go out there and go. She goes, oh, but they could be psychotic. But then I realize that it's different now to what I used to do.
different now.
However, I say, do meet the person.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, but if the person, I must be honest, I don't trust South Africans that much because I think we influence so much garbage that we do have all kinds of other things. But if you're going to book yourself into a European country, you paying your own hotel, you know
You're ticking certain boxes already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that person can't take advantage of you in a place. So yeah, you can meet them in a restaurant, but you already you have booked a taxi to exit you out of that place. So you've taken, but in South Africa, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna meet you at McDonald's Cresta. You already think, I've been to McDonald's Cresta for so many years and whatever. So you kind of relax because you think, but then if they say, let me drop you back at home, you're gonna relax. But if you're not outside of your world, you're gonna say, no, I've already booked myself an Uber. So that's how I've always navigated online dating.
Wow.
I've always taken care of the next step, the next step, the next step, and it's worked. For me, it's worked.
So you've never had a negative
No, I've
experience?
never had a psychopath. I've only had 2 people that didn't show up. But
But they were not here.
yeah, but I had taken care of my hotel room and this and that and that.
You deserve love.
Yomi. Hey, you deserve love. I am Belgian. Oh my gosh.
So yeah. Now for me,
Bongi, talk to me about dating apps.
It's the complete opposite
Oh.
of your experience, like the complete opposite. Firstly, I didn't register myself on a dating app because I'm technologically challenged. So, yep. But my experience, and I think you were right in saying what it was a few years ago versus now is totally different. Because my experience were either hookups. Do you want us to hook up? Right? So that was experience number 1. Experience number
So you
Hook
plan
up, it's
on
almost
the
like-
dating app that you hook up.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
almost like it's
So what is
somebody.
it?
It's somebody
See each
who's
other.
looking. No, but it's somebody who's looking for a one-night stand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
one
why-
night
that's why I
stand.
was
Yeah.
understanding.
So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like that was my experience. Like they're not explicit, but you can pick it up in the conversation. So that was experience number
So
1.
when I didn't want a one night stand.
No.
Okay.
Experience number 2 is when you feel as if you're being vetted as a woman. And I think every single woman in their 40s will tell you this. When you're being vetted for whether you can provide or not.
So sugar mommy vibes.
So, yes. So it's a question, what do you do, where do you work, who do you stay with, and so forth.
Okay.
And it's this vetting process that we've become very familiar with, right? Of, I'm expecting something from you. So that's experience number 2. Experience number 3 is the funniest one, because this one was, like, I was dumbfounded, because this was somebody I actually met, like we met for lunch. And you think, okay, it's fine, you met over an app and then you meet for lunch. And immediately the next day, they're asking you for money. So it's like those what's that documentary? Yes. And they're asking you for money. So for me, those were the 3 experiences, and I completely swore off. No, I didn't give them money. I think we know enough. No, I didn't. We know enough. But so for me, and I'm happy that you had such a positive experience. But for me, there wasn't one positive interaction.
Can I ask you a
in the
question?
2 weeks?
Was it
The one that asked for money.
Was it a South
Was it
African?
South African?
Right.
No.
Yeah, but like I was just saying that maybe
You see where the danger is.
and I also think that is the timelines. Is that maybe I had been on a dating app since 2009. So the characters that have probably been there have always been there, or whatever, versus to the ones that have just climbed on the wagon.
Absolutely.
I would like to share my experience. So
You also.
me too.
Hey.
So look, I think dating apps are like umjolo. It's all about a stroke of luck. It's all about whether you just happen to meet the right person at the right time. And there's certain sites that you go to and more, I'm going into the wilderness, and then there's certain sites you go into where I think there's a certain profile that you expect. Can I name sites?
No, don't.
Okay, so there's certain sites that Uguti, people are going. So there's one site I signed up for, and within 5 minutes I had 99 inboxes.
Yes.
And I deleted it instantly because I knew, Uguti, this is not what I'm looking for.
Yes.
There was another site where I had the right to swipe right.
right.
I had to swipe right. I had the right to swipe right. So the woman makes the first move. And that's probably the one that's most, that bears the best fruit. So I guess what I'm saying is, use dating sites by all means, but do your research
Do
in
your
terms
research,
of
On which ones, right?
which one will give you the desired outcome.
Because I was quite specific.
Yeah.
With my search on, I was very specific. It was country, it was caliber, it was, I was very
Cheers
specific.
again.
I didn't go, oh, everybody from China to, no, sorry. Yeah, I was very specific.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So can I wait?
Yeah.
Before, sorry, you have to cut the host there.
No. Hey.
You
Go ahead.
billions.
You look bullion.
Hey.
Zipna disposal.
What did you say? Really?
Can I just say I'm not an legend person, but billions. So, like literally, I've never been on a dating site, right? Clearly, I missed it, right? I missed it completely.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
You could have gone to Belgium.
I could have gone to Belgium. No,
Imagine the chocolate.
no, I'm stuck. I'm stuck with that Costa chocolate. but where I've seen it is my sister, who was single for 7 years, and
Hey.
I used to be with her, and I'm like, and what's this? What's when they say something is dead?
Dormant?
No. The behavior of gentlemen is dead. What is it?
Chauvinistic? Chivalry
No,
is dead.
chivalry is dead.
I thought you wanted
Hey.
to speak your own language.
Oh, you like French?
Yeah, I was
Chivalry is dead, guys. I don't know how I would navigate these streets right now. Chivalry is dead. So if I can just like describe how I met my husband, we're at work. He didn't talk to me, and then I took a picture of him, and then fast track.
Why did you take a picture of him?
No, for
fast track.
no fast track, because I took a picture of him because he wants some brand or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Because that's my department.
Okay, got it.
So then he was like, "Can we go out for coffee?" Because he'd seen me on Facebook, and he's like, "Can I take you out for coffee?" And on our first coffee date, he was like, "If this is who you are, I'm going to marry you."
What?
Right.
On the first date?
On the first
That's
date.
amazing.
2 weeks later, he's like, "Can I meet your parents?" No, a week later, "Can I meet your parents?" So 2 weeks later, he meets my parents.
Oh, wow.
2 months later, I'm meeting his parents. 6 months later, he's like, "Already."
Sorry, can I say something? When a man is ready, he will take all those things.
No. It's not about him being ready. It's
Yeah.
about the etiquette of Amadoda from Fantuka. Like with our Fantuka girls.
Yes.
Mamzo.
40 gang. Yeah. So literally the men now
Yeah.
and the messages I was reading on these apps are like,
The intentionality.
yeah, the intention. Oh,
Hey.
intentionality.
Hey, and she can tan, girl.
Hey, yeah. I'm taking that word to my next
International. What?
But
Ah.
Sam, I love what you said when you said chivalry is dead.
Yes.
And Penny, I know that we're moving away from dating.
Yeah.
apps,
Can I just ask Sam to
Yeah.
let her finish the story, and then you will come in there.
No, she tapped on at the right time, but just the way I was treated as a woman, he didn't try and go to
But I
second
think Xhosa
base.
men have that thing.
No, they
I'm
don't.
not because are intentional, guys.
No, they don't. They don't. I was very lucky.
Really?
They don't. They don't. I actually said I've never dated Xhosa man because I know how
But
they
you
are.
ended up with one.
But I married the first Xhosa guy I've ever dated. But the intentionality that you're saying is coming from how you treat a woman. And men were scared before to say, there's a guy at work that said to me, "How does your husband poop you?"
What?
You understand?
Really?
And I thought I was killing it in the meetings, in the project, but the impatho yomfazi one.
Yes,
But
yeah.
umfazi umphatha kanjani? Because
Kanjani?
umfazi is something fragile, is something delicate. Awukwazi nje
Sacred.
sacred. Ufumana umfazi okuthandayo fonini. Like
I would marry you
uzawutshotshayo.
tomorrow, Sam.
No, mamela.
No, I would marry you tomorrow, babe.
Like, it's such a sacred thing. And I've been married for 12 years, and there's no way that my husband looks at me and thinks, this is a beep. What? Because
Listen, I love that for you.
you
That's so
understand?
beautiful.
But when you approach a woman,
Yeah.
you are looking at a future, like, carrier of your kids, your homemaker, somebody that's going to bring life to the lineage of your family. How do you then ask me, Uguti,
How do you
do you like doggy style? Like, these are the things on Tinder and whatever.
Okay, I must say, you're moving towards the next topic because I did want us to touch on sex, right? So, there's nothing wrong with someone asking you, do you like it doggy style? Because it's part of sex. But when, in the context of what you're saying, I get it. We're now online and, but then again, even if we swipe right and we meet, and then go for that first date in understanding the type of sex you like and what your pleasures are and that's part of who you are. Are you then saying that discussion around sex should not be immediate? How long should it take before you discuss that? Even having it on that same day, is that a thing? Do you wait? I'm asking. We are in an environment where, especially now, Dimamzo, the older you get, you are so comfortable with your sexuality. I'll wait for no.
This is the cookie jar.
No.
And it's going to wait for 3 months.
Next thing you're busy tidying up and doing this. No, the thing is, you will say that namhlanje ngiyakufuna.
Right.
Yeah, it's not an embarrassment.
No, it's not.
Unlike back then when we were young dating, I could
We
never.
had to be.
Yeah.
I had to pretend like
Yeah.
he must want me. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah,
But
yeah.
today, there's power in
Yeah.
knowing what you want. I mean,
Yeah.
and I must tell you, ladies, I actually
Yeah.
interviewed a sex therapist, and we were talking about that. Lisa, the type of marriage you describe, what quality time means. I don't see you shying away from the fact that
No, I think I don't shy away.
yeah.
If ngiyayifuna ngiyayifuna.
Nje.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But I also get the context that Usem is coming from.
Okay.
And I think Lapo, I agree with her. I'm not the type of a person who would meet her today. Bese so nguza.
No.
For me that won't work, and I guess that's the type of woman I am. For me it's let's know each other. With my husband Mao, I've been with him for years. It's easy. We are comfortable with each other. But for someone back then, if Bessie data and he would have asked me that, I think we wouldn't be where we are today.
So what about cultural norms? Because I come from 2 different cultural norms, where I was with a different culture to what I was raised with. I mean, my parents would never talk about sex. My parents would never even if I saw them kissing, I'd have to hide and whatever, because this was what I'm a 1978 child, so that kind of thing was not all over the place. Yeah, I know.
You're comfortable.
Yeah,
she's comfortable with it.
absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that then when you move into different cultural norms, you come back a whole lot more different. And when I ventured, because I've always ventured into outside of my race initially. Right now I'm completely into my race, yes. But because of that stance, I've always been very open about my sexuality. I was walking around naked and then I got back into my cultural norm and had a blended family that I realized that these kids were not raised that way. My kids were, but my blended family they were not. And neither were my partners that I engaged with. that they were not. I couldn't go. What to because I didn't know Ziawa namhlanje. I didn't know. Babe, yeah, namhlanje Ziawa. Do you understand? I didn't know the ghetto lingo. I didn't know the. Do you know what I mean? I knew a certain particular way. So when I came in that way of candle, I remember my current partner. I had a whole room full of candlelights, and when he walked in, he says, "Are we load shedding, babe?" And I wanted to hide because I thought.
I just
Yeah, because I really thought, did he really mean that consenting way, or did he really think?
Does
that
he
we
not
were-
get it?
Yeah, and he really did. He kept on asking, "Baby, are we load shedding? Baby, where are the kids? Baby,
But
are
like
we
I
load
said,
shedding?"
okay.
Yeah, and then I realized that literally it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. So I want to ask this quickly to Bongine. Sorry, guys. As you've said you've been single for a while. What's your take on meeting a guy and then and the time between the day you meet and sex? Smadala, guys.
He's
I
asking
know,
intimate
but I
questions.
think so. I'm gonna go back to what Sam said. There is a certain level of disrespect on these dating apps, and I think there is a level of disrespect.
Vulgar. That's
The
quite
vulgarity,
vulgar.
absolutely.
Yeah,
There's a
it's vulgar.
vulgarity, and I know that men are exposed to different women. My ask of men is try and see who you're dealing with. Try and separate us. We're not one woman. We do not appreciate the level of vulgarity that is out there, right? So that's one with regards to dating.
But then you
apps.
shouldn't be on a dating app because dating app is like
No,
Oh,
but
no.
for me, it extends beyond dating apps. For me, it extends beyond dating apps.
Okay.
And I loved what you said earlier. You touched on chivalry is dead, right? And we're jumping into the sex thing now
Yeah.
because, number one, if you're single and we're talking about chivalry being dead, for me, how it's translated is when a male friend will come to me and say, "Yo, there are guys that like are asking me about you,
Yeah.
but they say that one you can say you need to know your story
Yeah.
before you step up to me."
Yeah.
So there is almost a limitation to the number of guys that will approach me because there's that thing that you need to know your story before you approach her. What is that story?
I was about to ask, what is that story?
I don't know. I'm a woman, I don't know, but that's been the
Is
feedback.
it the aura you give off? What is it?
No, often it's not even about the aura. I think often, working in a pharmaceutical environment, often women that came to me talking about this, it's about the genitals. A guy will say, "You've been with so and so who said they have a big dick and whatever, right? And you used to that. So now suddenly you're dating this guy.
Because
and
of the
they'll-
big dick.
Yeah, they'll come to this guy and say, "Oh no, don't take Penzola. She's used to this."
Oh.
I've never heard that. This is so interesting.
No, but absolutely. Working in pharmaceutical, I've had all of the stories, and I think I don't even know anything about this.
Yeah, I think
Scientifically, I could
It's-
prove them
yeah,
differently,
Yeah.
but I choose not to.
Yeah.
And I go,
Yeah.
all right, let them talk about that kind of stuff, but scientifically, they cannot prove
No,
it.
but what she's
I think
touching
it's
on.
something
It's
totally
What
different.
I want you
Yeah.
to go on what
Yeah.
you're saying, because what you're saying is quite important. You're talking about main allyship, and you're talking around how you ubuza ubhuti bani ukuthi uyangeneka akangeneki.
Yes.
Ngicela
And,
uqhubeke.
and it's that uyangeneka kangeneki thing, and I
Yes.
love you use those phrases. Uyangeneka kangeneki.
Yeah.
And that's for me, and this is a personal interpretation, right? It is about, is a man comfortable enough to approach a strong woman or a perceived strong woman?
But anyway,
Right.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's that thing of are you so, you don't know me from a bar of soap, right? If you don't know me from a bar of soap, you don't know what my history is, to your point. But there is this thing that says, you know what, she is, because the label is always she's unapproachable. But the unapproachable is a euphemism. For me, unapproachable is a euphemism for I don't feel comfortable enough to
It's about them.
Yes,
It's
it's
not
about
about
them,
you.
it's not about
Yeah,
the
it's not
woman.
about you.
Right? So for me, I wanted to close that loop with chivalry is dead because I really wanted. And to your question on the sex, right?
Right.
And I've been single. I think for me, the struggle has been how we brought up, right? Where I was brought up in a household where we don't talk about sex, but sex is a shameful thing.
Yes.
So for me, that's why it's so easy to stay single, because even when you are engaging in sex and you're old enough, there is that depth, there's a deepness within you that's always questioning. Because your foundations are, there's something shameful about this. And this translates as we grow older. So how we brought up in our earliest interaction or our earliest introduction to what sex is, if we don't work hard in exercising those early infusions, we carry it with us. And for me, I carry it with me where it's like, you know what, maybe it's better if I'm single, I'm not doing this, I don't have to worry about this. But I recognize that that is as a result of my upbringing. It's an impediment.
To move forward.
It's an
Yeah,
impediment
it
to
is.
move forward.
It is.
And it took a while for me to understand. And I love when
But
you
I
say
think
that.
the fact that you are aware of it,
Yes,
that's the first
yes,
step. So
yes,
for you to have
absolutely.
determined that that is the reason. So Bongi, I'm going to have to stop you there.
No,
Guys,
absolutely.
this conversation can go on forever.
Wait, she was finishing.
No, I was.
I loved where she was going.
I think there's more.
We're gonna have a part two.
I think there's more. There's more.
Part two.
Yes,
I was like,
yes. So I think in what you're saying, that's an entire topic around how we're raised and how we see sex, and as a result, because if you are raised to see this shameful, you don't want to be shameful, because even after that having sex, how do you feel? It leaves you psychologically impacted. So I do have to stop you there. It's a topic for another day, and I'm very excited.
so she's getting
we will
reinvited.
we will have a second portion, guys. Right? Ladies, I think that there is so much that we can talk about, and there's so much more that we didn't touch today. I do think that it's an ongoing conversation, and for me, I'd love to have you back in studio for us to do a part two. And reflect on what we've said. And I think it also gives you guys, me, an opportunity to also then start to think around the other type of questions that I want to ask you guys when you come back. I must say I've learned a lot from this. I think the guests spoke more than me, which is great. And just the different kind of people around me. Like, I really think that we're so different, but we're perfect
so
together.
diverse, right?
And we're just perfect together. And I love you were authentic. I don't agree. No, people didn't just conform. And this is really why we're having this conversation. I truly appreciate all of you guys. Guys, it's been such a, wow, it's, how can I put it? It's, I feel like I've just done,
I so want to wrap it up.
I love the adrenaline stuff. Like I remember when I did skydiving, I said to my husband when I landed, I said, it's such a liberating feeling. This conversation was liberating for me. I think I learned a lot. And ladies, I do appreciate you. But guys, I think importantly so, please engage in this conversation. Comment and ask the ladies some questions. The artists, the married people, the single people, any question that you have, please ask it. Let's engage, guys. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much. It's been a real thing. Goodbye. Bye.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, ladies. Cheers, girls.
Right, I have the next topic.
You have it.
We're going to talk about it in the week.
Listen, let's do the topic.
Ebo.
Alright, hot seat with
Mina
Penzola.
nguphi njengathi
Scene
siplonge
11,
nje
take 2.
la
Yeah. Hot seat with Penzola, scene 11, take 1.
such pressure. Woo! Okay.